Hello, everybody. We've got the second guest for the podcast coming on in a minute. I just wanted to introduce him. It was the guy that inspired me to actually get streaming on TikTok and whatnot. So, uh, yeah, it's Galloway Paints, and he'll be doing the rest of the introducing of himself. Enjoy the podcast, and yeah, I'd love to know if you guys would like to meet anybody or have me talk to anybody. I've got a few guests in the on the way, but yeah, we'll see in due time. Just enjoy the episode, and yeah, let me know what you think of it. A word of warning beforehand: I absolutely screwed up my end of the audio, so there's gonna be a lot of fairly hard S's. I apologize for this, but I think it's good enough to listen to. The audio is quite good, except for the S's, so you can tune it down a little bit, and I'll most definitely redo it in the future, because I feel like Gallo is somebody that is going to stick close to me, or at least we're going to stay in touch a lot. We speak a lot to each other behind the scenes, so yeah, enjoy, and hope to see you guys with the next episode, and otherwise on the lives. Have a good one. Peace out.
Do the clap.
Do the clap.
There we go. Clap, clap. Hello, everybody. Today we've got basically somebody that's inspired me to do the live streaming
Thank you.
on TikTok. Yeah, it's true, bro. And it's Galloway, all the way from Britain.
Hello.
And hello. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to sit with me, even though at a distance. But once I get to England, or for whatever reason you'd end up in Holland, we're going to do this over and in person.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good.
And yeah, I asked him to join me on this interview and podcast kind of idea, and see where we go from there, because I feel like I want to get to know you. And I mean, I know you're painting. I know what your hands look like. And maybe adding a face to that would be kind of nice as well. And yeah, first thing I'd like to start off with is who are you, and basically how do you see yourself? Who is Galloway in Galloway's eyes?
Damn. Okay. So obviously, like a massive, Warhammer 40k fan, as well as like minis in general, but predominantly 40k. Very much was someone that's always enjoyed the lore of it, the gaming of it, and up until recently, honestly, didn't actually enjoy painting at all, because the thing with me is that my backstory is like, I had my armies. I joined Warhammer when I was like sort of 6th edition, 5th edition sort of time. So you're looking probably like 10 years ago now, maybe even longer. And I always had this whole thing where it was like, I can't paint my armies in case I paint them to look crap, and people will look at it and go, "Huh, look how shit that is." And like, it's always just in the back of my mind. Like back then, it was just like, well, I'm too nervous and too afraid to paint them in case they look crap and people think they look crap. So I just didn't do it. I just sat with like grey armies the whole time until one day I just sort of like, I think it was during COVID, I was like, okay, I really need a new hobby. And so I took up like actual art, like drawing. And that sort of transitioned into, well, if I can draw, then I can try and paint. And yeah, there we go. Just started painting.
And basically, COVID was your step up into basically teaching people now online how to paint miniatures. Yeah.
Like my whole sort of like, mission, if you will, is simply just to help people that feel like I did with the whole, I can't paint it in case it looks crap, and being all embarrassed about it. It's all about like helping those people just sort of get past that and get to a model that they're happy with, kind of thing. That's like the Galloway Paints mission.
That is why you're streaming. That is why you're making all the tutorials. That is why you're basically your online presence at the moment.
Exactly, mate. Yeah, and like obviously we've got the coaching as well. So
Nice. Because before you were painting, uh, were you in any like artistic endeavor, or what did you do, for example, for a living?
So up until post COVID, I simply just worked at Tesco, just 6 a.m. till about 12, 1 o'clock ish. My main hobby was things like fitness and the gym, and like I say, obviously like actually playing Warhammer, but nothing artistic at all. And then,
And Tesco, for my mind's eye, is like a supermarket over there, right?
oh, sorry, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And okay, so a gym. So for some reason, I did not expect you to be like a gym rat.
Not so much now, but definitely back then it was, because like my lifestyle back then sort of suited it, because I would finish work at midday, and I would always be like walking home, and the gym was on my way. So I'd just go to the gym on the way home, train, obviously like then go home and just have a very sort of chill day. A lot of YouTube, a lot of gaming.
And basically, like back then, because I also heard you talking about archaeology.
Yeah, man. That was post COVID. I became an archaeologist because I was at uni as well. I was at University of Leicester doing ancient history and archaeology.
Wow. Okay. So this is like in a quite a short amount of time that basically you went from at Tesco working, being a gym rat,
Hmm.
to doing archaeology, starting painting, to streaming.
Yes, pretty much.
So very diverse. Yeah.
Like I've always had like a big love of ancient history and just history in general. And so my whole thing was like, I love that. So archaeology is the natural progression. Like this is probably what I'm going to want to actually do. And so I did. You know, I became an archaeologist. I did all my university stuff, but then it just didn't really pan out. Like I realized I wasn't actually enjoying it, and painting is really what I was actually like completely like dedicated to and actually enjoyed doing. So then I started doing the tutorials. You know, TikTok started growing. I was like, okay, this could maybe be a thing. And here we are.
Yeah, but that thing was a recent thing because I think I saw the stream where you announced that you've stopped your career as an archaeologist, right?
Yeah, that's been June. June was when I left archaeology. So what's that been? 2 months?
Yeah.
2 months of
Not
like
even.
actually just Galloway Paints.
Yeah.
So it was very
Quite
much
a leap, I can imagine.
yeah, man. A massive leap. You know, like my work day back then was 8 till 4. You're looking, depending on which site I was at, you're looking at anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half drive there and back. You know, getting home at sort of like 5:30, 6 p.m. kind of thing. Until now, it's just like, you know, I do still set myself an actual like schedule, like wake up at 7, start work at
Routine.
8, you know, try and have a break at like midday kind of thing, and then finish all the sort of Galloway Paint stuff by like 3, 4. You know, so I still try to keep that actual like work mentality, but it is so much more free. Oh, the freedom of just doing Galloway Paints compared to archaeology and stuff like that is just, yeah, it's great.
And do you also feel like um it's a sort of outlet for your creative side? Because I feel like beforehand you didn't have like, I don't know, maybe a way to express yourself to a degree.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, good point. I do kind of agree with that. Yeah, because like you probably know me from my streams. Like most of my models, they're semi box art. Like I do a lot of just my own actual colors and stuff like that. So that is a good point. Something I hadn't even really thought about.
Yeah, because I also feel like I think you were painting one of the, I think it was, oh, regardless, he had a shield and I believe a spear, and
Oh
you
yeah,
gave
yeah.
him according to your own colors, to according to your own chapter. And um just talking to you now, I kind of realized like it almost feels like you're trying to combine your love of history,
Hmm.
your love of painting, uh and express it in a way that you can make your army your own
That's
to a certain
exactly
extent.
what the custom chapter is, because the custom chapter is Spartanized, so it's like you say, it's got that history factor,
Yeah,
which is cool. I like
it
it.
is cool. Yeah, and the color scheme is really nice, and it shows that, at least I think so, but I think a lot of your viewers, and we kind of share a crowd a little bit here and there,
Mhm.
but I feel like a lot of your viewers also, how you say, when I saw some of your paint jobs, like for the miniatures, some are like really close to box art, but have like this little tinge of like your personality put in, like the
Yeah,
Necron, I believe, with the orange glowing weapons and stuff. But I believe a lot of people like dig that,
yeah.
uh, and enjoy watching those little like minor changes. Um, so it's really cool to like hear you talking about that and see how everything's like comes together in the whole like Galloway
Hmm.
uh, thing. Because I believe your last name is
Galloway. Yeah,
Galloway, right?
yeah. So a very original name, really. For my actual page, Galloway Paints. Oh, yeah. Massively original.
Yeah. Hey, but it says what it does, right?
Exactly. Like
And
going.
go ahead.
I was about to say, going off of that whole history idea, like you look at my custodies, for instance, they're very much based on Praetorian Guard from ancient Rome. So like they're still box arty in a way that they're like gold, but then the gold is a bit different as well, and then they've got purple. So
They're Galloway's guard.
Galloway's Guard, yeah, yeah, that's it. I am the God Emperor now.
Bow down, peasants. And uh, the uh, so you've been at it for like 2 months now. And how has it been up until now? Because I myself, I'm quite familiar with entrepreneurship and like the hardship and the expectations that I've learned to set for myself is always kind of like my factor for minus looking at my expectation. For example, how's it been for you? Because I've been really curious to that part of your story. Like the whole painting thing is like, okay, I get that, but how is the entrepreneurial side for you as somebody who's been always like,
Uh,
to a degree employed?
yeah, well, pretty much always, yeah. And to be honest, like that side has been hard, like for sure, because obviously, like going from a every single month, here's your paycheck, really nice and steady, to the past 2 months. Like I know in the long run that Galloway Paints will be like a really good, I could this is what I can do, this is what I can live off. It's got like X amount of income streams under the actual brand Galloway Paints. But these first 2 months have been hard because like obviously it's slower than I anticipated. I think I probably had my expectations really high, like you said. Being like, yeah, we'll go full time Galloway Paints. I'll get all these commissions in. I'll get all these coaching clients. And in reality, it's like, no, it's a lot slower than that. It's a steady build up. So like that side has been difficult. Having that sort of slow build up with like clients and coaching calls and stuff like that. But it's progressing now. Like Patreon's getting new members. I've got a commission coming from America in like a day. So it is definitely progressing. But yeah, that side's been difficult.
And do you have like people in your direct environment that understand like the entrepreneurial side
I've got
with
I've got one person that I can sort of outlet to because like all of my mates and all of my family are very 9 to 5, like all of them.
yeah.
So there's one person in my friendship group that is like trying to also start his own business. So I can just I can chat to him, which coincidentally is the same person that made the Galloway Paints website. So like
uh,
we're kind of like helping each other out, kind of thing.
all right, all right. And uh is it like, do you find a certain comfort or support when working with him or talking to him about the, to a degree, maybe I'd experience it myself as maybe disappointment or
Mm.
how you say, the obstacles that you run into.
To be honest, up until like this call right now, I am actually quite a closed off person. Like I do keep a lot of that sort of stuff to myself. So, but it is definitely freeing to actually be able to sort of express that. So, but to my mates, yeah, not so much. Like I don't tend to sort of like delve into it. I'm just basically saying all the benefits of it and how good it is. You know, they're still on the whole thing of like, well, couldn't you get like a part-time job whilst you do it? I'm like, that's not the point. You know, I've got to dedicate my time to it. I've got to let it grow. And they're like, oh, okay.
Quite because how old are you?
28.
28. And would you say that's like you're having a stoic approach to the whole thing, or is it more? And I apologize beforehand because I have a lot of assumption about British people, but would it be like British culture not to be seen complaining or venting or ranting, maybe even?
I'm not too sure if it's like, you know, the British side in me, but I just have this whole outlook of like, I know it's my passion, and I know that my passion will lead to what I want it to eventually turn into. It's just a matter of nurturing it, letting it grow. You know, like the starting point of any business is going to be the hardest point, is how I always see it. And that's just the point that I'm in, because obviously it's only a 2-month-old business, really. So just letting it grow.
Yeah, exactly. Be patient about it.
Which that might be a British virtue, just patiently waiting in line.
Yeah. Most definitely. But I've also noticed, and again, this might be a bias, but I feel like British people in general, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like British people in general are kind of like they have this really strict divide between like private life, public life. I don't know if you experience that as well, but reserved, maybe because I consider you a very reserved person on stream. It's
Oh yeah,
a lot of interaction between you and the input that the chat gives you, for example.
yeah, for sure. I would say I definitely am, and like even my friendship group in general are very, like you say, reserved. Like it's quite rare that we would all sort of sit down and open up, if you will. Maybe after like a few beers, but overall, yeah, definitely very reserved.
Cool. And do you like uh during streams and whenever you get like input from the chat, do you also like experience that to yourself as uh feeding or maybe even seeding ideas or things to do for the future, because you're on both TikTok and you've got Patreon and you've got, I believe, YouTube as well?
Yep, and in Instagram. Instagram this morning broke 2K followers. So
Congratulations.
thank you.
Very nice. Yeah.
Which is actually, Instagram's quite funny because like when I was doing all like my stuff whilst I was still doing archaeology, I tried TikTok and Instagram at the same time. Instagram got to about 400 followers and then just stagnated. No matter what I did, I was posting like reels, pictures. It just never changed. And TikTok just like grew and grew and grew. And so I dedicated to TikTok, and now I'm starting to go back into Instagram again, and it's at 2K. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, how did that happen? This was stagnant like 2 months ago. Like, what?
Because do you also like diversify your content on the different platforms, or do you just like copy from Instagram to TikTok and you're like, I shot this anyway?
A lot of the Instagram reels, in fact, all of the Instagram reels are the same as the TikTok ones. Instagram just differs where I can actually upload pictures. So Instagram sees a lot more of like the work in progress sort of pictures, but all the reels are the same as the TikToks.
Nice.
And then
Well, you
YouTube is
heard it
obviously a
here.
bit different because it's longer form, actual like full tutorial kind of thing.
Deep dive.
Yeah.
And is it mainly for your patrons as well, or do you like release for your patrons first and then for the other followers?
So Patreons get completely different videos to any of the other platforms. And like, you know, I've got a couple of members in my higher tier now, which their whole thing is that they can vote on whatever the video is going to be that week. Like I would give them, say, here's A, B, and C options. You know, which one do you want to see, kind of thing, and then whichever one gets the most votes is what I then do that week.
Nice.
But I feel like I completely missed your question. So going off of the whole stream thing, yeah, I do find that stream, like for instance, stream is what gave me my merch store because I hadn't even thought about merch, and then you get someone like Barney being like, "Is there Galloway Paints merch?" I'm like, "Oh Christ, like, that is a good idea." So definitely, the stream does help me like grow and evolve as well.
And you set up the like the entire merch shop by yourself? Do you like do all the work on the back end of Galloway
Oh
Paints
yeah,
alone?
yeah. All the
So
Galloway Paints stuff is just me.
can you stick to the 9 to 5 structure, 9 to 4 structure that you've put for yourself, or do you often catch yourself like I don't know late at night still doing stuff?
Sometimes, like a lot of the sort of behind the scenes stuff, you know, post like 4 o'clock, like commissions and tutorials, it's just Discord stuff. So just like chatting to people in Discord, you know, like chatting to my moderators about potential like different channels that we can make, stuff like that. And then at the minute, we're setting up the whole Kick side as well.
Nice, yeah, we spoke about that. Good to hear.
So that's going to be interesting. So doing TikTok lives and Kick lives is going to be quite fun.
And are you looking into like multi-streaming or just one at a time?
Just one at a time. So Kick will be on different days to TikTok. Because that way,
Nice.
like in my opinion, I can vary the models as well. You know, like TikTok could be, say, the Imperial Knight that we're doing now. Kick could be a Space Marine kind of thing.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, very. I'm looking forward to seeing that because I think you, and then the other one would be Neath Miniatures. I don't know if the name rings
Yeah,
any bells, but
I follow him.
he's also moving, I believe, towards Twitch.
Twitch.
So
Oh,
quite,
okay.
yeah. So I'm quite curious as how to that will develop. Honestly, I'm curious about everybody who's developing in what way and when and how and what because I feel like there's like this small community of creators that share like a common group of supporters and followers.
Yeah, I find that as well.
Because I decided the reason I started streaming was because I stumbled upon your stream and I was like, hey, this guy is doing actually really nice. And it inspired me for like setup and how you dealt with your stream.
Yeah.
And I've got to be honest about one thing. The only thing I thought was when I saw your stream, I was like, I think maybe a little bit of music and a little bit of more entertaining.
Yeah.
I think I can add that and be like my own thing next to his. That's also why I decided to stream on the days when you weren't streaming, because I wanted to respect your example and streaming moments. But coming back to the group thing, I feel like you, me, Horde, and then there's like I actually like have footage of the Spectre King, the Lady of the Moon, and the one that Horde painted, the big orc
Oh yeah.
vessel vehicle thing together.
Nice.
Yeah, there might be a bunch of other creators on TikTok as well doing Warhammer.
Oh, we've got Underdog as well, haven't we? So
Underdog, yeah, underneath.
Yeah.
That kind of group that's rolling over there. I feel like it's a really, like, to me it's unreal
Yeah. Like
because I
the
don't
crazy. Sorry,
yeah. No, go ahead.
I was about to say like the crazy part is when we did that 4-way multi-stream. Like me, you. Or was it 5? Sorry, because Ben joined as well, didn't he?
Yep.
So that was pretty cool. Even
Yeah.
though it was hot and Horde's phone just imploded like every 5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh man, what was it, like, I don't know, 30, 32 degrees?
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
But like that was cool. Like the fact that we could actually all band together to do stuff like that is cool.
Yeah, and I'm also looking forward to do some more like content together in regards to giving back to the community to a certain degree,
Yeah.
because there's some crazy people out there. And I don't know, I mean, you said like you had that moment where you had, like, I don't know, your first stream. You
Mhm.
told me before we started. Can you tell me again how that experience was for you the first time you streamed?
The very, very first stream. So like
Yeah.
back when I first started streaming, I was like, I'm gonna do an hour because an hour to me sounded like eternity for for a stream. Because me before any of this, so me literally last year, maybe even like honestly the start of this year, is a very shy, like you say, reserved person. Like going on camera, and not even like on camera, just like talking to people live was just like a massive no for me. I was like, nope, never ever am I doing that in my life. Uh, but somehow I decided to try it. I don't know what came over me, but I was like, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. And there I was, all set up, ready to stream, and I was like shaking like mad, absolutely bricking it. Streamed for an hour, was like just basically sweating everywhere. I was like, thank God that the camera's going this way because God forbid if anyone saw me right now. Trying to paint a miniature and my hands are like, I'm like, okay, this isn't really working, is it? But yeah, just sort of stuck with it. Tried again, tried a couple of times, and then eventually it sort of like calmed down. And like I remember my very first stream where people came in and actually like started giving me like properly a good amount of likes. Like I was pretty calm at this point. I was like, okay, I can do this whole stream thing. And then boom, here comes a couple of people, and they're like spamming the like button, making chat spam it. I got up to like 10K or something, and I was like, I'm shaking again. What is happening?
And when you got your first gift, what did that
Oh
do to
mate,
you?
even like obviously like I know TikTok gifting is not like anything like huge monetary wise, but I remember like even just the first rose, I was like, wait, someone's actually gone onto TikTok, actually given me money, even if it's just like 10p or whatever. Like what? Like this is people are actually like genuinely giving me their actual money just because they like what they see, and it's still like a bit surreal when people donate because it's just like like people are actually you know donating actual real life money because they just enjoy me and what I do. Like that still just kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, because what made you decide to do the streaming in the first part? Was it just the invitation from like TikTok that you had 1K followers, you were able to, and you were like,
Well, I didn't start streaming until I was at, I believe, 4K. So, but like my TikTok was growing and my tutorials were doing like decently well. You're looking sort of like an average of say like 8K, a couple like higher ones and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I could give this a shot. Like, I'm seeing a consistent trend of the same sort of people liking my videos all the time. And like people were commenting on the videos all the time. I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. And it just grew from there.
yeah, because as I said at the beginning, it's like, uh, I'd not believe it because you come across as very calm and collected
Mm.
and like a stoic, sailing through life, easygoing, doing his
I'm,
own thing.
I'm very relaxed. I always have been.
But the anxiety has completely like faded for the streaming bit.
It's weird though. Like when I set up to stream, sometimes it's still there. I'm like, you know how like you see pop stars doing like interviews about when they go on stage and they're still like really nervous. Like
Yeah.
it's still there. Like even yesterday when I streamed, it was sort of like I was waiting for the countdown to happen because like I like to stream it like bang on 6, and it was like 5:57 or something. And I was just like, okay, okay. But yeah, I don't
Calm,
know. Literally, like
meditate.
once I get into it though, I'm like, that's it. It's all good.
And do you look forward to seeing the people again?
For
Or
sure.
seeing might be like a big word, but
I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, definitely. Because like even on Discord, you know, half the time like the chat are like, yeah, you know, live in 20 minutes kind of thing. Like I don't even say it. Half the time the chat says it just over in Discord. I'm like, yeah, this is cool.
nice. And the because I've noticed myself, and I'm also just using this as like a way to bounce things off of you that I experienced myself. Like I have a few people that when I not see them for a few days,
I know
I
it's
feel obligated to send them a message like, "Yo, is everything all right? Because I
yeah,
haven't seen you in like 3 days." Like, do you experience that same thing as well? That like the weird parasocial.
yeah. I do get that. I do get that. Like there was a couple of people in Discord, and like they just kind of like fell off the face of the planet. Honestly, I was like, okay, I'm gonna reach out to you now. And most of the time, like they're fine and everything. They're just like busy or whatever. But yeah, I know what you mean though, for sure. And it's nice as well. Like you stream and someone joins that you haven't seen for a while, and you're like, "Oh, like how are you, man? Like how's things?" And you just like have a weird catch up as if like you've been best friends for 10 years, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, funny. I for some reason I always felt like seeing those, like I can imagine if you have like, I don't know, 50,000 people watching your stream, for example, it's kind of impossible to do
Mm.
that. But do you enjoy, like, obviously you want to grow your brand, at least maybe in 5 years you'll be, I don't know, buying up Siege Studios and eliminating the competition that way.
Yeah, exactly. Like off they go. You work for me now.
Yeah, exactly. But aren't you afraid to lose, like, except for example, the streaming bit, to lose that personal touch that you have with a bunch of people?
I feel like because I made the Discord server and my whole thing is trying to make that into the whole Galloway Paints community. Like even though that is also still growing, you know, I've deliberately set a role called OG. So like the people that have been there for the whole like since the start, you know, they're actual like OGs in the Discord server and stuff like that. So as the stream grows, even if I start getting like hundreds and hundreds of people coming in, and therefore like chat is going nuts, which has happened, but I feel like Discord is really the place to sort of talk to them properly if you don't get a chance during stream. Because I remember a stream where I think I had something like 120 members in or something, like viewing it at one time, and the chat was just like, I was like, I cannot keep up. Like I just can't. Like I'd respond to everything, try to paint something again, look up like 20 new messages. I'm like, wow, okay.
And how do you deal with that for yourself? Like, do you let them know, like, yo, guys, I can't keep up. I'm just gonna start painting and respond here and there. How did you solve that issue
That's
for
literally what I
yourself?
do. I literally like I carry on painting. I'm like, right, I see there's loads of messages. I'm just gonna finish this bit and then I'll catch up, and then yeah, I'll just do it that way. You know, so I acknowledge that the messages are there and that I'm gonna get to them like once this part is done, kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
But like half the time as well, like you look at it and you go like 20, 30 plus messages, but I notice that a lot of the time it's actually people just talking to each other. So like you can actually scroll through and it's like, oh no, there's that question to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of hilarious. Sometimes chat just, like in my own streams, at some points, just chat just starts conversing with themselves, and I kind of just feel like sitting there
I literally
making
do half
background
the time.
noise.
Literally, yeah. I'm like, I'm just watching chat, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is a fun conversation." Yeah. I just carry on painting. I'm like, "Yep, still chatting away."
Nice, yeah. And do you do like because you stream, I believe, 4 days a week?
3 at the minute.
3.
Yeah, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday.
Oh yeah. Okay. And at I believe 7 o'clock British.
6 British, 7 for you.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, for some reason, I always confuse like the British time and our own. And uh, are you going to keep expanding the streaming because you do streaming, you do commission painting, and you teach or coach to a certain degree? Is
Exactly,
it
yeah.
just, and then you have the merch?
hmm And then
Anything else?
Patreon,
Yeah.
uh, YouTube, obviously, yeah, Instagram. But like the main ones are going to obviously be like business wise. Obviously, the main ones are coaching and commissions, and then
Mhm.
eventually, maybe like through Kick or something. Obviously, the streaming will become a monetary thing as well. So like they'll be like the big three, like the actual Galloway Paints main income earners kind of thing. But yeah, I definitely intend to just keep going, just do what I'm doing. It might get to the point in the future where I need to actually have somebody else as well, kind of thing. But that's probably a long way off yet.
Well, you already have somebody who can help you out with the website, for example.
Yeah, and I've got my mods in Discord as well, which can help with that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Very nice. And as obviously it's gonna grow, Galloway Paints. I mean, that's the goal.
Yeah.
I could ask you one question, but I'm curious as to another. Because I feel it's kind of like an undervalued question. But when have you set for yourself have you set a date or a time at which you for yourself have like set, I don't know, the success threshold? Like if it doesn't become a success by, I don't know, 6 November 2026, then like have you got like a benchmark? I don't know how to call it.
Um, Not so much like an actual like date or anything. Mine's more monetary at the minute. So like because obviously I don't have that consistent income from being employed, if you will.
Hmm.
Mine is like, say if my current savings get to X amount and the income still isn't really helping to boost that up, then yeah, I'd maybe look for like a part-time job kind of thing, and then carry on working on Gallo Paints whilst doing a part-time job. But that's really the only thing that I have. I don't really have like a set day or anything like that. It's very much just a monetary, if it hits X amount kind of thing,
Nice.
which hopefully would obviously never happen. Like hopefully the Galloway Paints income side will actually obviously like become an actual like livable thing,
Yeah.
because I don't know about over where you are, but trying to like move out in Britain is pretty expensive.
Like the housing market and renting a place currently here is almost impossible in like the bigger places, the bigger cities.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, that's going to be the goal, is to get Gallo Paints to the point where it can just be my actual full like life thing. Because
Yeah.
especially with something like this, like obviously if you do the 9 to 5, you have like your retirement age and what have you. Something like this, where it's like your own business and it's something that you actually are passionate about, I feel like I could just do this indefinitely, kind of thing. Until maybe my
Yeah.
eyesight goes and I can't paint anymore, but who knows?
That's quite a challenge, but on the other hand, I don't know, for some reason I feel like listening to you as well as like the uh going to the gym, because it takes a lot of discipline to like keep doing that. And maybe your stoicism as well, or laid backness, I think is very like fertile ground to start developing it into its own brand and its own thing.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, there are obviously hard days where like I'm looking at everything that's happened in say like the past 2 months, and I'm like, it's not really where I want it to be right now, and like, am I actually struggling, kind of thing. Like, sitting down and really just talking to myself, like having this sort of like discussion with myself, just been like acknowledging that maybe yes, I might be struggling a little bit, but it's okay because like it's still growing, kind of thing. And then like when you get a commission come in, you're like, yeah, okay, like this kind of thing is what I'm here for. And like when you get people messaging about like potentially booking a coaching call and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, cool. You're like, it is working, it is, kind of thing. Just takes time.
Yeah. 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 And we were discussing this the other day as well. But I want to get this registered because I think it's kind of a funny thing. How often do you get like questions about either commissions or lessons, and then when you reply afterwards, you never hear anything
Oh man,
ever again?
like after every single stream, for sure. There's always at least like one person either that's DM'd me, or it happens a lot actually in stream as well. Like people are like, "Oh, like what are your commission prices?" And I'm like, "Oh, it varies depending on what your model is. Like it's hard to just to say it on stream. Like just give me a DM after the stream, and I'll get back to you." And it's like, "Where's the DM? like,
Crickets.
like,
Yeah.
where are you?" But then it also, like you say, it does happen that people DM and you give them a quote, and then that's it. That you just get ghosted. It's like, oh, okay.
Kind of awkward, but okay.
And yet, obviously, you get the other people where you give them a quote, the exact same quote, say for instance, for the exact same model as someone else, and they're like, "That's really reasonable," and then boom, there you go.
Yeah, because I've noticed that is something that I've noticed as well in like the commission world is, and I think I can actually like put it almost categorize it by culture, because Dutch people always think I'm very expensive. British people think I'm reasonable.
Mhm.
Americans think I'm cheap.
Okay.
I don't know if that's your experience as well.
So far, my main clients have all been British. Like I said, I've got the one coming from America right now,
Mhm.
but the person that I'm doing right now from America, that person was so like ready to go. He was like, "What's your address? Like, let me ship this." I'm like, "Dude, hang on, I haven't given you a final quote yet." Like, and he's like, "Oh right, yeah." I was like, "Okay, here's your final quote." And he's like, "Awesome, let's go. I posted it tomorrow." I was like, "Okay."
Why can't they all be that way?
I know, right? I know. But then, like, my mentality is that I'll offer like say everyone. So far, everyone's always gone for my what I call high tabletop, which is what I paint to on stream, like all my sort of models. And then my mentality is to go like one step a bit further than what I actually offer, so that when they get it back, they're like, "Holy crap! Like this is wicked! Like I'm going to go back to this person." Like over deliver really.
Yeah,
That's
give a little bit more than promised.
exactly that's always been my sort of outlook. Like if you're going to do a service for someone, you over deliver, and then they might be a returning customer, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I don't know if you experience this as well, but I often, when I do a commission, like I myself used to do like, I've done like 160 clan rats and more than 180 goblins and 60 spider riders and shit like that. I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
But that is also because whenever I do a commission for somebody, I also feel like the same, almost like uh, giving a part of myself to the model that I'm painting for the other.
And
Almost
you
as
don't
like
get rid of it.
sorry.
And you don't want to get rid of it at the end.
No, I've managed to deal with that, luckily. But um, uh, I'm really grateful for the fact that somebody trusts me to
Mhm.
paint their models, and not necessarily like, I mean, I get compensated, of course. I mean, I gotta eat, but just the trust that somebody gives me,
Yeah.
and sometimes like a stranger from across the globe, like
Yeah.
you've had with the American, like, do you think because you're nodding in accordance, but do you think you'll be able to get used to that?
Probably not. Like maybe if Galloway Paints becomes like, Galloway Paints Studios, let's say, and like, I'm like a big commission studio, C Studios, maybe if it becomes something like that, then I'm like, yeah, people can actually trust me because I'm like, I've done this a long time. I've got all these other commission painters under me now. Like I feel like maybe at that point, maybe. But for sure, like right now, because I say to people like when they've have like booked an actual commission, I'm always like, "Thank you so much for booking a commission." I'm like, "Why am I saying that?" Like, like of course they're going to book a commission because they're already doing it. But I'm like, thank you for being a commission client and all this kind of thing. But I don't think that's really ever going to go. I think I'm always going to be very thankful.
Yeah, humbleness embodied, basically.
Exactly. Just like you said on stream.
Yeah, I also really enjoy like you interact with everyone on stream,
I try to.
and you take everybody seriously,
Hmm.
which I find sometimes difficult, but it's
Yeah.
really I think it's really admirable the amount of patience that you have with some people whenever I watch your stream. I don't know if it's like too deep, but I'll start with my own. Sometimes when somebody, for example, I don't know if you've experienced this as a streamer as well, but when you get questions and then you reply to those questions and take the time to like give an in-depth answer,
And then they don't
and
respond.
yeah, for example,
Yeah.
like how do you deal with that for yourself?
I just sort of like I've always had this sort of like ability to just sort of brush things off kind of thing. So like if I do that and then after say like a couple of minutes there's been no response, I'm just like, okay. I'm like, well, maybe they're not here anymore. Because obviously like on stream you can only see like your top 2 people. Let's say like a number, but I don't actually know who's in the actual stream.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, maybe they've just gone kind of thing. But yeah. Yeah, that can be a bit annoying, but I just sort of brush it off and just move on to another question.
Yeah. And then there's of course the regulars that uh inhabit the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the like the weirdest thing you've had happen to you since you've been streaming?
Oh, I don't really know. Let's have a think. Honestly, like the part that I still find really weird is simply the support.
Yeah.
Because I knew that the Warhammer community is a very supportive community, but not to the level that it actually is. Like that's still very weird to me. Like you look at gaming communities like say Call of Duty and stuff like that, and you get all these horror stories about how toxic it is, especially like streamers. And then I'm streaming away, and like every single person is so kind and friendly, and I'm just like, yeah, it's just weird. It's like, where are like the toxic people? Do they exist in our community? Like, what's going on? But then like some of the other things, the whole like Galloway was humbled by this meme kind of thing. I remember when I believe it was Barney first said that I was basically like the Bob Ross of 40k, and I was just sort of like, what the hell? Like, what? Just completely taken aback by it. Things like that. Like, yeah, just the support and some of the things that people actually say, like, is just that's still just very weird to me.
Because have you had any like negativity on posts or stream or whatever?
On stream, not so much. There's been a couple on like actual posts where people are like, "Oh, I would do it this way," and I'm like, why are you commenting that? Like, it's a tutorial. Like, okay, congrats. Like, you do it that way. Well, I'm doing it this way. Like, so
Oh,
those sort of
yeah.
comments I don't really understand. I'm like, okay, okay, like And even
Thank
then,
you
I
for your
tried to
input.
respond in a nice way. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good technique. Like, well done.
There.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, I've had the same thing. I was just curious as to whether it happened to you, yes or no, because like you have a high production value on your tutorials. Like it feels very professional. The black
I've
background.
always aimed for that sort of idea. Yeah. Also, I
Yeah.
apologize if you hear meowing on your podcast. Simba's just came in, so I do apologize
Oh
if you
yeah,
hear anything like that.
no problem at all, man. Life happens. Gotta let it flow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I didn't expect you to like actually like have like not necessarily negative, but people like want to just share their story
Hmm.
on your content on how you could do better.
There's a couple of people sometimes like they come into the stream, but like Ben's always there as the mod, and he just snipes them out straight away. But like you get the trolls that just come in and go, that looks shit, and then Ben's like, and God.
Okay. I've
And
never
half
had
the time I
that
don't
happen
even
to me.
see them, like
Really?
because Ben snipes them so quick. I'm like, I see the pop up being like, moderator, Ben has muted or kicked such and such. I'm like, what happened? And he's like, oh yeah, they were just chatting crap. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay. Bye.
But like that's very rare, very very rare. I
Yeah.
think he's only ever kicked maybe 2 people, maybe 3.
Mm.
So, but yeah,
Doing fairly good then.
yeah. Overall, like I say, it's a very positive community.
Yeah. And you mainly focus on 40K currently?
Mostly, yeah, mostly. Obviously,
Yeah.
lately on stream we've been doing a lot of the stuff from Horde, which obviously aren't
Yeah.
40k related, but predominantly I've always been a 40k person.
Yeah.
I really need to
And
get
I saw
into
you.
AOS at some point, but
Well, I was thinking about that. I've done an order of some models, and then maybe we could do something fun with that, with the Underworld's warbands. But I'll be in touch with you, because I've had a few ideas just to do something fun with the community,
okay.
um, like with a bunch of the creators, and then basically just send each other your first or second painted mini,
Okay,
and then strip them, and then repaint them in the same style to the best of your ability.
and resend.
Yeah, and resend it. Yeah, basically.
You are aware that whoever gets mine is just getting a literal Necron warrior, right?
Doesn't matter, man. You
Like
can make
just
something
just
beautiful
an,
out of
an
that as
OG
well.
Necron warrior with the green rod. That's my first mini. This is where someone's like, my first mini's Archaon. I'm like, oh god damn it.
Oh man, if anybody has their first model as Archaon, man, they had too much money on their hands.
Speaking of
But
things like that, have you ever
yeah,
had people either on your streams or as an actual genuine question for a commission, things like Warlord Titans?
I did a commission for Archaon actually.
Nice, nice. Like I had
uh,
someone in my stream and he was like deadly serious about it. He was like,
mm.
"Oh, like how much is a Tau Manta?" And I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like,
And did it actually go through?
"No."
Basically, they ask you because they're curious, and then they went
Yeah,
away again.
I was
Oh
just
man, that's
like
so sad.
the person was like, "Oh, I'm looking to spend maybe like 4k on it," and I'm like, "The fuck."
Yeah.
I'm like, "How do you have that much to spend on a model?"
Well, currently, and I will be recording this and not broadcasting it, but I don't know if you've got this, but I'm building a very big diorama with some Deathwatch and Tyranids.
Yeah, I've caught it a couple of times.
Sorry?
I've seen it a couple of times, like on stream and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
which I'm not gonna name an amount, but the guy paid serious money for it. And that is also why I figured for myself painting commissions is fun, but I'd rather do stuff that people can put on their desk, because I feel like the people that put the things on their desk genuinely value the artistry that they're paying for.
Yeah, that's
If you
cool.
catch if you catch what I mean, like,
For sure. And that's the kind of thing that I haven't done yet, but I would definitely like to, because I obviously with my artistic background, as I've said this a lot on stream, is that I see mini painting as an actual like art form, whereas a lot of people just see it as a the hobby. But no, I'm like no, like it is literally art. So I think doing something like that would be very interesting.
yeah, because my dream would be to, with you and a bunch of others, get the money together to buy a Warlord Titan, and then each of us basically maybe we lock ourselves up for a week and start painting him from begin to end, and then we raffle him off, and all the money that comes in, I'd like to donate to, I don't know, something along the lines of how you say, suicide prevention or something like that, like a good cause. Because I want to work on it, but I don't necessarily want to own a Warlord Titan, you know?
Yeah.
And
Like,
it would be amazing to do
I
that with
don't
a
know
group.
about you, but like, where would I put it?
I'm already having that issue with my knights,
Oh
the
yeah.
Chaos Knights that I've got. They take up so much space, man.
I had that exact same problem, with my Army Painter collaboration. Like they spent so much, and I'm like, I don't physically have the room for all these paints. So like they're all just in a box under my computer desk, and if I need them, I just have to like go into the box and go, oh, there it is. But so
talking
things like
about that. Sorry, finish your
let's say
sentence.
so. Yeah, things like a Warlord Titan, like there's just no chance. Like, where would I put that?
Yeah, but maybe when either of us owns their own full studio or whatever. But yeah, I feel that. And talking about that, you actually have a collaboration with Army Painter, right? As a sponsor.
Yeah.
Very nice. And how did that feel for you?
Oh God.
To
I mean, that was probably the reaction right there. But oh, mate, honestly, so like basically how it happened is that they started liking my videos, and so I just DM'd them on TikTok. I was like, I see that you've been interacting with my content. Is there any possible way that you do things like collaborations and stuff like that? And then Adam from the Iron Painter, the person that's like on all their adverts, they're on his YouTube channel. He DM'd me back, and then like we started emailing, and then he was like, right, I'm back from my holiday. How I like to do these kind of things is to have a team talk, like actually like this. And he was like, oh, I'm US. It's about 2 PM. Is it okay if we do it now? Which for me is 8 PM. And I was like, yes. So here I was, like sat literally like this, talking to Adam from the Iron Painter at 8 PM, and we were just talking about like a potential collaboration and stuff. And for the whole time, he probably saw this. I probably tried to hide it. I didn't do very well, but the whole time I was like, "Holy shit, this is happening!"
Basically, fangirling a little bit about.
Yeah. And then he was just like, at the end of it, it was like, just make a wish list, send it over in an email, and I'll see what I can do. So I tried to be really nice. I was like, any of your box sets, and I said any so that they could send me the smallest one if they wanted to. So I tried to be like nice like that. And when I got the actual email through and it was like air paint mega set and all these other things, I was like, holy fuck. Like, what? How is this actually happening? Kind of thing. And I'm still like that now.
Can imagine, yeah, basically, because you got like a big value boxes, like 2 of them, right? If I recall correctly.
Yep. So I got the air paint mega bundle thing, which I think has something like 96 paints or something in it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then a speed paint one, which had something like 50 paints in it. A wet palette the master dry brushes, and 2 of their like small regiment brushes. And yeah, I was just like, how is this actually real? Kind of thing.
Very nice. And still, congratulations on that, because I think you can actually like genuinely call yourself like I don't know, influencer now, right? I mean,
Yeah, there we go. Professional now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's so cool. And in return, basically, you have to use their products on stream, right?
So Adam's like very, very chill. He's a lot like me.
Mm.
He was basically saying that instead of being like, now that you have them, you have to solely use these, but he was pretty much like, whenever you actually use them in like a tutorial or like a showcase video, just tag us. And I was like, okay.
Oh, that's very nice.
He's very, very chill. So like
Cool.
that, that Necron I did with the orange blade,
Yeah.
like I deliberately did that with only Iron Painter paints, because that was the first model I did after receiving the collaboration, and so I deliberately did it like that. But now I just sprinkle them in.
Oh, you got them. Might as well use them, right?
Exactly. And I dropped Adam an email the other day, because I think it had been almost a month since the collaboration, and so I dropped him an email just sort of like saying again, obviously like thank you, and like how I find the actual products and stuff like that, and how I've been finding the interaction, and yeah, it was good. And Adam was like obviously saying like thank you for reaching out again, basically, and that he's been liking all the content that he's been seeing.
Nice.
So
Good to hear, man.
it's going good. So who knows?
Do you have?
Sorry.
Sorry, finish your sentence, please.
I was about to say, so who knows? Like going forward, that might turn into something else as well, like maybe even like a paid thing. So that'd be really cool.
Hey, all the better.
Exactly. Sorry. So what were you going to say?
I was curious because I myself have been eyeing like the same thing, looking for. I think we discussed it as well shortly on your stream. Like, I don't know, just mail them and see what they respond.
Yeah.
But do you have like something big that you would like to set up for Galloway Paints? Like, is there?
Oh, mate.
For example. Do I just need to take my time? I'll just sit here and you can just respond.
My biggest dream for Galloway Paints is to be in the Games Workshop's partnership program. The whole what you see online, like on YouTubers and stuff, where they get new products sent to them and then they have to like paint them up and talk about them. I would love for that to happen.
Have you emailed them already?
A long time ago, not lately, but a long time ago.
Did you get a response?
No.
Games Workshop, come on, man! What is this? These ain't no manners. Might as well just tell them no. Oh.
But yeah. So that would be like the big thing, is to get like a partnership with GW, because I think that would just be really cool. Like the idea of that is still kind of mind-boggling. It's like, oh, here, we've released Demon Primarch Fulgrim. Here, have it for free. And I'm like, what?
Can I have 2?
Can I sell it on eBay?
Oh man, I did some digging actually, and because before I started let me put it this way: when I started streaming because I had the idea of opening my own like hobby store here in Holland.
Oh, nice, that's cool.
But I pivoted as we went, and I actually asked the sales rep that we contacted, like, when I get supplies, most of the times you get them like a week or 2 weeks before the release.
Right.
You get them in your store. I was like, am I allowed to write one off for myself and paint it and then show it as a? It was like, you can do anything you want as long as you don't sell the model to the customers. And I was like,
okay.
Maybe I should just rent a place and start selling Games Workshop, just to be able to like stack stack the benefits of making content and being able to offer Games Workshop.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a bit more expensive than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I can
But
imagine.
it's mainly I think I'd call myself like a bit of a sly fox. Like whenever somebody tells me the rules, there's always like gray areas within the written rules and
Mhm.
laws. So I approached a bunch of people that already had stores. Like, hey, yo, if I like do a contract with them, could I like store the starter thing in your store for at least the time being?
And
But
they're like,
yeah.
no.
I actually found one, but he lived in a village away from me. So whenever supplies would arrive, I'd have to like be in the car for 25 minutes, accept everything, and blah 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 blah. I was like, nah, I'll just focus on the whole content creation thing and see where that goes. And by December, I'm gonna decide which way to fully pivot.
Nice. Which way are you
Because I think
leaning at the minute?
well, currently everything has been way more positive than I thought it would be.
Hmm.
Because based on my previous experiences, because I've always been involved in startups and setting things up from the beginning, basically, which was always a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot. But as in like turnover financially, I think I've suffered financially a lot with that type of deal. Expectations were low when I started this whole thing,
Hmm.
and actually invested in getting stuff up and running to promote the commission business. And then all of a sudden, people started subscribing, and
Yeah.
people started asking for like basically the whole path that you've been, like the merch and the Patreon. And currently, I'm really leaning towards trying to combine high quality exclusive commissions and live streaming those. So
Okay.
basically, at a max, my goal would be to have like 20 commissions a year, do full dedicated hours on making the best possible things that I can, and basically just see where that goes. I
That's
mean,
cool. And what that would be sort of like high paying commissions kind of thing. Like high
yeah,
ticket clients, if you will.
yeah,
Interesting.
because I don't feel like if you look at painting armies as commission, for example, I feel like there's a gazillion of us
Mm.
who can do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think your first official commission was the Gallo School, if I recall correctly,
Yeah, it was.
which is the big orc model, which was for a friend of yours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I basically started off the same way. And I feel like I've developed my painting skills to a degree, and I'm currently developing my painting skills to a degree where I know I may not fully understand it, but I know how to make a model look good with the correct brush strokes
Okay. Yeah, I get you.
instead of, yeah, all the intricate details of painting a model, basically.
Yeah.
And I don't feel I am a hobbyist anymore.
Interesting. Do you sort of like agree with my sort of outtake then? Is that instead of a hobbyist, you're an artist?
More and more, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that to me is when it really became enjoyable. Like when I realized that I wasn't painting it simply to have a painted army at Warhammer, when I actually took it into more of the art realm, that's when for me it was like, yeah, this is what I want to do now. Like this is really fun. And that's why like
Yeah,
a lot of my commissions I prefer character commissions to anything else. Because then I can just focus on it, work on it, do it obviously to a very high sort of standard. I prefer that to the idea of doing, like you said, like 100 clam rats, because I'd just be like, dry brush and ink, dry brush and ink, dry brush and ink.
Yeah.
Whereas I
Yeah,
prefer to just
exactly.
work on something.
Yeah, just a project like that at the end, having that centerpiece for somebody that wanted something cool to put on the table and that actually is eye-catching, or maybe
Yeah.
even on the desk to have people look at. Um, have you also started? Sorry about that. Have you for yourself also been learning more techniques, or maybe looking at other artists and the way that they work their models and paints? Have you like been experiencing or looking into that as well, or like
Yeah, man.
developing your craft?
Yeah, always. Always. Like my latest things at the minute has been to do with like painting black armor. Because in the past I was very much the whole GW way of just paint it black, give it a couple of edge highlights with a grey. Whereas now it's more I paint it black, I add, tonal variations with blues. I do obviously like proper highlights and shadows with blues, and then all your edge highlights with like your bluey greys. So whereas before all this, like I say, it was just a very basic black and grey. Done.
Yeah.
And then my other sort of area that I'm still developing a lot on is just things like non-metallic metal. Like things like
Yep.
that sort of thing is definitely my sort of like main focus area at the minute.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a few models to start trying that as well.
Yeah.
Um, how's
I've,
that? How's that going for you?
I've definitely found that I prefer to do non-metallic weapons rather than like a whole model. Like doing non-metallic trim, maybe, but the weapons definitely. Because I
Yeah.
did my Abaddon, and he has non-metallic metal gold trim, and that
Yeah.
wasn't too bad. Like it was still obviously quite difficult because he has a lot of trim, but it wasn't too bad. Whereas like doing a non-metallic metal sword, I can get it done in like 20 minutes or whatever, and it looks good. So I think for now, I liked the idea of doing non-metallic metal weapons over anything else.
Mm. Yeah, I've tried it a few times with non-metallic metal. I'm genuinely thinking of doing like visiting Zarnian
His stuff's
to
really good.
record a. Oh, man, whenever I see his stuff, I basically I have to stop myself from just throwing out my paints and just grabbing a yarn of wool and some and start knitting just to be able to calm myself. But man, that guy has mastered it, man. It's crazy.
The
Very
interesting
inspirational.
thing about Zarian though is that I haven't seen him do anything that isn't non-metallic metal.
Exactly, exactly.
I'm like, you're
Yeah,
a pro at this bit. What's the rest like?
yeah, yeah. I'm currently myself working a lot with skin and skin types, trying to do that in like different ways. I always used to do the Bugman's Glow, the basic recipe for GW.
Yeah.
But I've been doing a lot with let me see, maybe I can actually like show it to you. Horde advised me to get this book.
Okay. Cool. I'll have to have a look into
Wait,
that.
yeah, it's really I'd advise you to get this as well if you're looking into like understanding different things.
Mm.
But basically, the thing I did with the Lady of the Moon
Oh yeah,
with
yeah.
her skin, they go more into depth in the book as well. And that's also when I started to recognize more and more. Like I watched a lot of YouTube to discover how other mini painters do certain things.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been quite invested in the actual like mini painting YouTube side anyway. Like even before
Mm,
starting all this, I used to watch a lot of mini painting YouTube anyway. Like it's always just been something I've enjoyed watching. And now I watch them to learn more techniques, but I also watch them to learn the actual filming side of it more than anything now.
Yeah.
Because filming a YouTube, I remember I filmed my very first YouTube, filmed the entire thing in portrait, didn't I? Because I was so used to TikTok. And I was like, oh, it has to be landscape. God damn it.
Oh yeah, the pain.
like why? Why can't you all just be portrait? I did the same thing with
Yeah.
Patreon as well, because Patreon's meant to be landscape. And my very first
Yeah.
Patreon video was in portrait because I was so used to TikTok.
Yeah. Trial and error, man.
Exactly. I've had more trouble with YouTube than anything else. I've had obviously, like you say, the things where I filmed it in portrait. I've had bits where like I would have put music in it, and turns out that the music isn't 20 minutes long,
Copyrighted.
so it just ends halfway through, and I'm like, oh my god. I mean, even one of my latest ones, my custody video, I didn't realize until I watched it back. I just didn't even add music. I was like, where's the music? And yet, weirdly, that video's still been really well received on YouTube. Like, it's still got a good amount of thumbs up, and it's got nice comments on it. And I'm like, I forgot the music. Like, god damn.
Amen. How do you say? Iterative. Move forward, iterative, and at one point you'll get the hang of it.
It will click eventually, yeah.
Yeah, man. Or maybe you just hire an editor and be done with it.
Just like, here's a video, make it good.
Yeah. Good luck, bro.
Do your best.
If you have any questions, don't at me.
Show me when it's done.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. Yeah, cool. So yeah, I think we've been chatting for around about a
Just
little more
over
than an hour.
Yeah, I think I'd see about 1 hour 20.
So as a closure, I think, or first off, do you have any more questions for me?
No, man, I'm all good. If I do, they're probably more like DM based questions anyway.
Yeah, sure, no problem at all, man. Where will Galloway be in 5 years from now?
Ooh,
No restrictions.
no restrictions. Okay.
Yeah, go ham.
I'm thinking at least sort of, like your 100k plus followers on Instagram and TikTok kind of thing. Discord, actually that's a weird one. I don't really want Discord to be like massive, because then it's just going to get out of control. I want Discord to be a place where it's like, again, like the dedicated kind of people there. Obviously streams, I want streams to become obviously massive. Patreon, again, same with that. I do see my Patreon just growing and growing and growing to the point where like that's an entire income stream by itself, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Obviously YouTube. Have a like really like big growing YouTube. Obviously the whole thing with GW, becoming a partner with them.
Of course.
But yeah, this is a weird one, but I actually kind of want commissions to be at the point where it's kind of like maybe sometimes I'd have to actually close commissions, kind of thing. But like, yeah, I've got so many now, like I can't actually take any more, kind of thing like that. And then lastly, obviously the coaching. It'd be great, obviously, to have like coaching calls like every day, even just like people that come back for coaching like continuously. Like actual like dedicated coaching clients, kind of thing. Yeah, definitely. Basically, everything that's happening now, just bigger.
Factor 20.
Exactly.
Yeah. And will you still be in England?
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, I have no plans of going anywhere yet.
Cool. All right.
Maybe there would have been a holiday here and there to see you and Horde, but who knows?
Of course. Hey, and then maybe in November we're gonna move over to there. I'm still waiting for Horde to respond. Get permissions, but that would be nice. But yeah,
I'll tell you
I'd like
the
that.
in the world.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much for your time.
No worries, man.
I'll be adding everything here in the description. So if you want to visit Horde's stuff, I highly recommend just joining in on either his streams or any of the things you're doing.
Yeah.
All links will be below, of course. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to, I don't know, maybe some more collaborations or stuff like that. Do some
Sounds
awesome
good.
stuff together.
Yeah, I love it. That'd be awesome,
Yeah.
man. Well, obviously,
So
thanks for having me on, obviously.
of course, we'll see what happens. I don't know. We're just recording, releasing. We'll see if it actually has something,
This is where you
added.
upload it, and within like 2 days, it's got 10k views, and I'm like,
All right. Yeah. Let's stay in touch and do this again in the future. Maybe do
Absolutely.
benchmarks, see what happened.
that'd be fun. Yeah.
Thanks so much, man.
All right, mate. No worries.